Hey, welcome back to the channel. Boy, I've got a great knife to show you today. It's this one over here. It's a Frank Buster knife. Over here is a case. And I wanted to bring this knife to you, talk a little bit about why these are such great collector knives, the Fight'n Rooster brand. And then I thought I'd go ahead and compare it with the case over here. This knife was produced in 1988. This knife was produced in 1989. It's really close together, and it's going to be an interesting comparison. But also, if you're not familiar with this Fighting Rooster knives, they're just phenomenal. So I hope you check out the video. All right, welcome back to the fortified castle. I'm kind of recovering from last night. Um, I I have a lot of critters in my neighborhood, and I like to take care of the critters in my neighborhood. And so we put out food, we take care of them, and some of them become friends, and some of them don't. But we've got a new family of raccoons that are frequenting our porch, and they're really small. There's 4 baby raccoons and a mama raccoon, and when those raccoons are really small, they're like, man, I tell you, they're way more mischievous than uh, cats, kittens, for instance. And so it's really comical. I got up early in the morning last night. They're banging, throwing stuff around on my porch. I go to the door. I've got one little baby raccoon crawling up the side of my porch. My big cat is sitting there looking very regal, and the baby raccoon's wanting to play. And of course, my cat don't want to play with raccoons. So there was some friendly sparring going on between those two. And then right down on the deck, there's another little baby raccoon running around knocking stuff over. There was another one. I've got some porch lights, and of course, there's a wire running from the lights. And the little baby raccoon's got his hands on it, and he's swinging on it, kind of pushing it, just having a great time. And it's absolutely chaos, but really cute, really fun to look at. So we're going to talk about this knife, beautiful knife. Um, don't know whether you are particularly enthralled with it or not, but I am. It's just beautiful, beautiful celluloid covers on this knife. It is a large stockman, and it has engraving here on the blade. No pain, no gain. 1 of 1,000. You see the rooster there, 1988. So this is number 4, or this is number, let me get it, come on. This is number 545 of 1,000. You see the Fighting Rooster logo. It's Fight'n Rooster. And you see the 2 roosters there fighting. Now, today that's not a particular accepted thing, but years ago it was. On the back, you have Frank Buster Celebrated Cutlery, and this is made in Germany. So just a beautiful knife here, and we're going to go through it in a minute. Okay, first I'm going to welcome everybody to the channel. Hi to all my viewers. Welcome back to the Fortified Castle. And quite chaotic last night. But so you had this really beautiful knife I wanted to share with you guys. Most of the time these are referred to as Fightin' Roosters because of the tank stamp, but it was actually, these are actually Frank Buster cutlery knives. He hailed out of Lebanon, Tennessee, and started producing these in 1976. You can sometimes date them precisely because the date is on them. So you see right there, 1988. But also the tang stamps changed a little bit over time. This one would date this tang stamp. Frank Buster celebrated cutlery would date between 1984 and 94. And in 94, he changed it to Frank Buster and Sons. And so you can date them through a period that way. But these are just fantastic knives produced out of Germany, the Alberts plant. And he produced really, really fantastic knives. High mirror polish on these knives. I chose, I have a few of them. I think all the ones, maybe except one. I have one that's in bone, but the other ones are in celluloid because, I have these old celluloid knives and they're beautiful. Uh, but of course, they're 80 and 100 years old. And I wanted to look at celluloid brand new and just see what it looked like brand new. And they are just spectacular. All the different kinds of colors that you can get in there. Beautifully clear. You're just uh, so many different designs that they can put on the celluloid. You have a really nice federal shield here, perfectly installed, by the way. There's no gaps whatsoever. Nickel silver pins in this knife, nickel silver bolsters, nickel silver shield, brass liners, engraved with that's gold. Not all of them have gold on them. Some have silver, some have gold, some have nothing. There, having trouble getting that in. You can see the mirror polish on this thing. And these things are just made the way a knife should be. You can see the really nice swedging. Show you down in there. The other blade, same way. Marked on every blade because that's the way they used to do it. You have matchstick pulls. And again, beautiful swedging on every blade. Just absolutely gorgeous knives. Okay, try to keep this in focus. And you can see every blade. Beautiful spade blade on this. Really, really nice. Good walk and talk on these knives. Most of his knives were kept around the 200, and so he would produce a knife in a certain pattern and produce 200 of them. So he kept the numbers low for collectors. But these knives were produced up into the 2000s, so there's a lot of them out there. And at $100, this knife is a bargain. At $100, most of these knives, because they're collector knives, are in really good shape. Some aren't, but some people used them, but most people just collected them. So you get a beautiful example of a collector knife, for half the price of a GEC. And these knives would rival GECs easily rival a GEC. He made them, as I think I mentioned before, in all the different bones. So, bone, mother of pearl, wood. You could just find every scale material that was made except genuine turtle shell, of course. If you look at the back here, you see the top squares are a little rugged. That's kind of sign of the times. That's really the only problem with this knife is the top squares aren't really clean and smooth. Let me open it up for you. And again, mirror polish down there. Beautiful. Look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous. Mirror polish tangs on them. This knife really only has one flaw. Let me see if I can find it again. Right here, there's a little tiny bit of separation between the bolster and the liner there, and that's comes from the grinding. But pretty much a perfect knife. There's no gapping in that knife whatsoever. So let's look at the case knife, and so this knife is an '89. That's the year that Parker bought case. It comes at the end of a very long downward spiral for case, and a time when knife enthusiasts were looking for that knife that was made properly again. This knife is actually pretty nice. You have some really nice peach seed jig bone there, very aggressive, really nice nickel silver bolsters, high polish on this knife, mirror polish. There are some very tiny gapping issues in this knife. You can see a little bit of it right there. There's other issues too, though. If you look at these rounds, that one looks good, and you can tell right away this is cut off. So you can see the round is not square across here on the knife. And then, of course, it also has the top square. Looks kind of nasty on that. Looks worse than the Fight'n Rooster. But this is the kind of thing knife companies were doing back then. Really nice knife. The walk and talk on this knife is good. There's the tang stamp. But it's an interesting comparison when you look at these two knives. I don't really know what this knife looked for. I didn't do the research on it. Both sides are swedged there. They're different. This is a jackknife. The other one is a Stockman. But they're so close together is why I chose them. You can see that right there. Model number. Really nice pen blade on here. One of the things I want to point out to you is the stepping right here. That's just one of the issues where companies that used to be even transition from the blade to the back spring to save money, save time on fitting these blades. They just started stamping them and putting them together. I wanted to show you on this one though. This has stepping also, I believe. Yeah, so you can see the stepping there. So a lot more went into this knife, and that stepping, is just one way they save money. They don't polish or grind off the top square, which is that area right there. This knife has a whole lot more going on with it than this knife right here. So both, I think, are nice knives. I think this is a nice knife. It had a couple issues, but really nice knife, especially considering the time frame that it came out of. But it really doesn't compare to the Fight'n Rooster. The Fight'n Rooster just kind of blows it away. Bit and finish. They have some commonality in the problems that each of them have, but overall, this is a much nicer knife. And these are just great knives. These Fight'n Roosters by Frank Buster. A lot of times you can get them for less than $100, and they're just really fantastic knives if you can get a hold of one to add to your collection. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting. I really, the case is in there, right? The case is a pretty nice knife. It's in there. It's the other subtle details, the etchings and stuff like that this knife just excels on. And, many of you would not like the celluloid, but I do. And you can get these knives in just bone or pearl or wood. So they come. He produced a lot of different patterns of these knives, a lot of different patterns. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I really appreciate the support you all give the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.